Leave Your Mark. I'm Vince Cortez, and today's guest is Jennifer and Auggie Wiese. They embark on a transformative journey with autism, inspiring a creation of bee-free foods out of necessity. Now, driven by their mission, they aim to revolutionize the culinary landscape by offering delicious, wholesome food while actively working to bridge the employment gap for the individuals with autisms. Thank you for being my guest here today, Jennifer and Augie.
Thank you.
We're happy to be.
You are listening to Leave Your Mark with your host, Vince Cortez. Leave your mark. Inspiring the world, one guest at a time.
Here.
How you guys doing today?
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been a busy morning. It's been a good day.
Now, you guys are in Indiana, and I want to touch on Augie's story here. Augie is born in Noblesville, Indiana, and raised in Noblesville. And his mom right there with him. She's a co-founder of Be Free, and Dad Charles was a dairy farmer.
It was always very interesting. Growing up with three brothers was awesome. It's really Noblesville was a great town to grow up into. Really small town feel. It's a lot bigger of a town now, but a lot of fun things to get into as a young boy in the town of Noblesville.
Like your story, as far as your autism, starts relatively early. You're 8 years old when you find this out, or you're being diagnosed as such. What is life like when you find out this news?
So one thing I remembered from when I was really little is I just remember like nothing really changed. Just one day my parents came and told me, hey, we just want you to know you're autistic. And like nothing's changed. You're gonna have a good life, but like it's just a thing you have, and it doesn't like make you like it's not a bad thing or anything like that. It does like you're different, but everyone's different. It's not like this thing that's like looming over you. So they put it in a way that was, like you're gonna be fine, positive. Yeah, for sure.
Now, you said you didn't feel any different. So with that diagnosis, the Be Free is spawned from it. We'll reference how that comes to be. But so apparently this has to affect your diet and other things in your life or lifestyle that you're going to have to change. What were some of those things?
Absolutely, yeah. So so there were things even like I remember when I was a kid, I really liked pretzels. I couldn't have pretzels because they had bread, or I couldn't I really like the Dorito chips. I couldn't have those because red 40 there can be gluten in red 40 with food coloring, certain types of food colorings. And so it just was I've been a label reader. I'm very fortunate that I had two parents that were around the house that could cook as a young child, for sure. Because just at a very young age, way younger than really any kid should really know to label read. I've been label reading since I was 8 or 9 years old. You could take me to a grocery store and you could say, hey, what about this, this, or this for dinner or lunch? And I'd be like, well, I can't have X, Y, or Z without even looking at the back anymore. And that's
now, how long did it take you? Because your condition actually it forced you to learn that much quicker than you probably would have liked. Being that I like Doritos myself too. I understand why that one could be a problem.
Yeah.
But so how do you begin doing that? Like you see an ingredient, you have to learn if that's a friend or a foe, and you're making your process of elimination. You're blessed there with mom and dad can cook. So what are the steps you're taking to develop a new diet?
So I think a new thing, a really positive thing for me was even before I found out I was gluten intolerant, my mom would always pack my lunch for school. And that was super helpful because I would see the same things for lunch every day as like an 8, 9-year-old little boy. And I'd be like, okay, I can have X, Y, or Z. And then throughout, to be honest with you, I got pretty used to it really quick. And I'm pretty fortunate that I didn't learn out learned I was gluten intolerant when I was in high school or as a,
That
you
would've
know,
been
a young
harder.
adult, because that would have for sure have been harder. I was just, to be honest with you, I was just kind of conditioned by what I ate at home
Mm-hmm.
that really, you know, like it kind of was second nature after I would say like 6 months to a year. It really was like I could really figure out what I could have and couldn't have. And my parents were also obviously a huge part in that as well.
Now, let me ask you, when you would have something that you shouldn't have, what kind of reactions would you get?
Oh boy.
I was
Uh,
anticipating this
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to, so if to this day, if I have anything that's gluten in it, now I just get and even back then I would just get really bad stomach aches. So it was kind of like intestinal issues. But then I also would just get really, really hyper when I was a kid. I would get really, really hyper, and I would be
At this point in time, Jennifer, to bring you in here, do you decide to make the gluten-free products from his experience of this, or is that kind of come after the next level of being in the food industry for him?
Yeah, well, once we leaned in on gluten-free for our family, for August and for our family, because I wanted everyone to eat the same food at the table. August was already feeling different, in ways. I really didn't want to serve him a different plate of food at our dinner table. So it was important for me to be inclusive from the very beginning. And then once we really kind of figured out how to cook and eat gluten-free, because it wasn't easy back then. In 2008, there weren't really great resources like there are now. There weren't really great restaurants that had gluten-free menus. None of that existed in 2008. And so we really were building this and really kind of charting our own course. And so once we had that all figured out, then gluten-free is starting to get popular. Like it's in the media. It's like professional athletes are using it as a way to enhance their athletic performance. And it's trendy, but it's right around that time too, that people are really looking at food as their medicine. And that really spoke to us as a family, but also to me as a mom, because knowing that I had something figured out that a lot of people were trying to solve. And I have I very much have a helper kind of a personality where I want to help. I want to figure out a solution to a problem. That's just how I roll. And so I just had this knowledge that I had something that I had already figured out, and that it could be a gift to other people. And so we did some farmers markets in the early years, like 2009, and then in 2010 there was so much demand, and I was already cooking and taking gluten-free food everywhere for August, because like I said, you couldn't find it in restaurants. And if he went to a birthday party at the local pizza place, they weren't going to serve gluten-free pizza. So I would make a gluten-free pizza at home, put it in a pizza box, and send it ahead of time that they could serve him so he could join in the party. So people were noticing, like people in my community were noticing those kind of things, and they were continuing to ask me, would you make something gluten-free for me? I know somebody else gluten-free. I want a gluten-free birthday cake. All those kind of things were happening a lot. And so I was just encouraged to make it a business. And in 2010, I made it a business and I started knocking on doors.
Let me ask you, because you were referencing the meals, and the thing in America is having dessert, and yours is a treat. So this is sweet, not like a meal. Usually meals are salty. So the idea that he's on this diet and it's like time to have something sweet and finish the palate off at the end of the meal, did that have any influence on how the beef-free snacks came to be, or that's just a hunch?
Yeah, well, no, yes. I mean, definitely, very much so. So the products that we made early on, like when Beef Free was first came to be, like that pun. They were sweet. They were all August's favorite foods. They were chocolate chip cookies, chocolate cake. Remember the lemon cake I used to make?
Yep.
We had these whoopie pies. I mean, they were all his favorite foods. So yes, to your point, definitely very much spoke to what his favorite foods were. And I felt good about being his mom and being able to provide him something that I knew he enjoyed that now fit his new gluten-free lifestyle. So.
Have you ever thought of being a podcaster? Click in the link in the description below to watch my free mini course to start your podcast on YouTube today. Now, back to the episode. And this is exciting because your background and your sales and marketing skills from your past now really come to the fore. So it's like you've actually, by helping out Augie with the diet, acquire a trade. You're a chef of gluten food, specifically in this one. You're going to do gluten-free snacks.
Yeah, no.
So I mean,
right.
you're right. And now that I don't think people in 2008, as you mentioned, even knew what gluten-free was.
They didn't.
And very limited. So the idea now, some 20 years later, close to it, we're in the window where it's a commonplace thing, as well as people are, evolving inside of a gluten diet. So I had your snacks. I think they're delicious. And I agree with you that you can't tell a difference, that if it didn't say gluten-free on the package, I wouldn't have known that. So I think you're doing a wonderful thing here. So Augie mentioned earlier, you're trying to get in Costco. Share with me what the current state of the business is.
So Costco tried to contact us in like November, right? We started doing that in November.
We did. We
Yep.
were part of their grand opening, and I'll just lean in a little bit
Okay.
to assist. We did a grand opening with Costco back in November in our hometown of Noblesville, and we were the top selling snack food. In 5 days,
Yeah.
we sold more snacks than Doritos, Reese cups, those really yummy animal cookies. Reese makes them. They're animal cookies.
Like
One
animal
side
crackers,
is chocolate, one
Okay.
side is peanut butter. We sold more than those. I mean, it was bananas.
it's
And
crazy.
the store manager was like, I've never seen anything like this in my 16 years of being a store manager. And so she helped make that next then introduction to the next layer of Costco buyers, to see if we would be a good fit for the region. So we're still in discovery of what that's going to look like, and certainly very hopeful that Costco will roll us out into the rest of the region in the Midwest, and then, let's go worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Costco is the perfect one to get into, to have that type of situation come to pass.
Yeah.
Now, so where are you currently selling your products now?
We're in about 3,000 retailers across the country. So we're in every state in the country, in the United States, and then all different types of retailers, like big box stores to regular grocery stores to specialty natural food stores. We're in 9 different airport locations.
Wow.
So you can buy your product if you're going to go jump on an airplane. And we're in.
Well, I mean, think of that in itself, for the convenience of just someone's looking for a healthy snack, and all those that you mentioned are just not good for you. And so to have a snack and it's good for you is double beneficial, but the convenience then. So, the people are finding they get kind of cozy on the airplane. They want to read a book, or they want to veg out or whatever. But to have something healthy in that moment, I think that what you're doing is spot on with the mindset of our current culture. So I think this is very exciting, because you guys, I think, can have the opportunity to really, I think you could be worldwide, because the food consciousness now is greater than ever. And you're not a product that's an idea. You're a product sitting there waiting to be consumed as we speak. So it's very exciting for you guys. Now, do you have, other than going global, any other aspirations? Any other charity work you're doing, or things of this nature?
Yeah, the biggest heartbeat, and August can share his thoughts on this too, but the biggest heartbeat for Be Free is our ability to change lives through jobs for people with autism. So we have a nonprofit called Be Free Bakes, and that is our Autism Training Center. And we're really super, super passionate about that.
Mhm.
And, we're looking to grow that into 90 jobs that we'll be able to
How many do
provide.
you currently have?
We currently have 12. And so we have an interesting model of interns. So we have paid employees and we have interns that come and experience what it might be like to work for Be Free. They might try us for a little while. They might stay. They might move on to something else, and that's okay. And then also we work with some of the local school corporations, and we provide job experience to some of their classes. And that's really, we had a class today
That's
from a
awesome.
local high school. And so we're very experiential, very hands-on, and very accommodating. So that's one of the, biggest things that we're, if you are really noise sensitive, you need to wear earphones, that's fine. You need a quiet space, or you need to sit down, or we're super accommodating. And we're just really passionate about, the hardcore fact is there's 85% of people with autism, 85% are unemployed, or
Mm.
underemployed. And I just can't sleep at night knowing that exists out there in the world. And so we want to be a positive difference, and we want to be change makers. We want to be able to change people's lives through employment.
I think this is wonderful, and that you have, besides an incredible product and concept, this is a whole nother venue that you're taking on here, bringing autistic people into the workforce and giving them that opportunity to work is wonderful. I want to go back to Augie though, because you mentioned you were in sports and you did coaching.
Mhm.
And what your mom has mentioned, some of these employees and these kids go through, I
Mhm.
kind of see you as a team captain here.
Yeah.
You have the background, you have the coaching. What is your role in moving forward and helping this grow and to become what your aspirations are?
So I think that's a great question. I think so my goal is just to really just to help expand the amount of people we hire. It's very hands-on, like my mom said, so it's really easy. Everyone does their own. Everyone, it's to everyone's own ability. Like we have a young lady that is really noise sensitive, so we let her have headphones. We have like another person like that as well, and they can bring their headphones in. There's different, like if you have a hard time counting or like weighing things, like we make a lot of food products every day. So you can make boxes that we can put what we make in them, things of that nature. Um,
Right.
there's really a variety of
The idea
different
that you can
things.
shape the employment around the person's
Yeah.
abilities is
Mhm.
just what's fascinating here. And yourself having the autism, you're gonna be great at this. Your ability to know, having gone through it before
Mhm.
or experiencing it even a little now, so that you'll be extra patient with those people. I see this developing on a whole nother front besides just the snacks as well.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited to have you guys on today. So it leads me to my final question. We're going to let mom go first. How would you like to leave your mark?
I want to leave joy in the world. I want to I want people to, like, when they look back and they remember me, I want them to feel that I somehow put joy into their life.
That's beautiful. Okay, Augie, you're up next.
Yeah, I can kind of echo what my mom says a little bit, but I think something very important to me is just making sure people like me on the spectrum and with disabilities in general, to be honest with you, are seen and they're heard and they have a voice. And I want to be a voice for people like that, to be honest with you. That's incredibly important to me.
I,
Um, yeah.
I think that you guys are doing a very good job of that as we speak. I'm excited to see where that all leads.
Thank
Again, I
you.
want to thank you for being here today. But before I go, share with me any website or tag that you would like for people to find you and make it easier for them to find you.
Yeah, so they can find us at Be Free GF That's our website. Do you want to share your LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn if you want to connect. It's just Augie Wiese, AuggieWiese.
And then I'm also on LinkedIn as well too.
Yeah, she's on
Jennifer
LinkedIn as well.
Wiese. It's same last name.
Same last
This
name,
is
yeah.
great. I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you guys on other fronts besides Leave Your Mark. So this was really great. I'm glad to have you on.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
happy to be here. Thank you.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You are listening to Vince Cortez. We just want you to leave your mark.